You're standing on a rooftop in Islamabad at 3 a.m. The city is asleep below you. Through your scope, you watch a window 2 buildings away. A man inside is selling your country's secrets to a foreign embassy. You've been watching him for 19 days. You know what he eats. You know when he sleeps. You know the names of his children. Your earpiece crackles. One word. Confirmed. You don't pull a trigger. That's not your job. You take one photograph, fold your tripod, and walk down 12 flights of stairs into the dark. By morning, the man will be gone. Not dead. Just gone. Transferred, vanished, erased. And no one will ever know you were on that roof. This is the ISI, the most feared intelligence agency you've never been allowed to understand. And this is your life from the very bottom to the very top. You don't apply to the ISI. Not really. There's no website with a careers button. There's no booth at a job fair. Maybe you're a young army officer who scored too high on the wrong test. Maybe you're a university student who speaks 4 languages and never bragged about it. Maybe someone in a plain shell chemise sat next to you at a tea stall, asked you 3 strange questions, and walked away. Then one day, a letter, or a phone call, or a tap on the shoulder. You're invited to a selection process that no one will explain. You report to a building with no sign. They take your phone, they take your name. For the next few months, you're a number. They ask you questions for hours. Where does your loyalty lie? What would you die for? What would you betray? They aren't looking for the strongest or the smartest. They're looking for the ones who don't crack. You pass. You don't celebrate. You can't tell anyone. Not your mother. Not your best friend. As far as the world knows, you took a boring government desk job. Welcome to the agency that officially barely exists. They send you somewhere you can't name. For the next year, this is your entire world. You wake before dawn. You run until your lungs burn. But the body is the easy part. The real training happens in the classroom and on the street. You learn tradecraft, the craft of the shadow. How to spot a man following you in a crowded bazaar. How to lose him in 3 turns. How to leave a message in a wall that only one other person on earth will ever find. How to read a face and know if it's lying. You learn surveillance. They send you into Rawalpindi with a photograph and one order. Follow this person for 8 hours and don't be seen. You fail the first time. And the second. The woman selling fruit was watching you the whole time. She was one of them. You walk too fast. You look back once. Amateur. You learn to disappear into the ordinary. To become forgettable. The recruit who needs to feel important. Gone. The one who wants credit. Gone. They keep the gray ones. The ones a room forgets the moment they leave it. The washout rate is brutal. The ones who survive aren't heroes. They're ghosts in training. You graduate. No certificate. No photo. Just a new posting and a sentence you'll never forget. From now on, you carry secrets that could end you. Your first real posting. A city near the border. Officially, you work for a government department that processes paperwork. Unofficially, you run sources. A source is anyone with access to something your country needs. A clerk in a foreign consulate. A smuggler who crosses the border twice a week. A phone shop owner who hears too much. A soldier on the other side who's angry at his commanders. Your job is to find them, study them, and turn them. Everyone has a pressure point. Money, anger, fear, belief. You learn to find it and press gently. Never force. Force breaks people. You don't break a source. You own one. Your first recruitment takes months. He's a low-level official with gambling debts and a wife who's leaving him. You don't threaten him. You become the only friend he has left. You help him. You listen. And one day, almost casually, you ask him for a small favor. A single document. Nothing important. Just enough. He says yes. After the first yes, every yes gets easier. You file your report. Somewhere up the chain, a senior officer reads it and remembers your name. You've just proven you can do the one thing this work demands. You can make a stranger betray everything and make him think it was his idea. Now they'd trust you with something darker, catching the enemy inside your own house. Foreign agencies are always trying to do to you exactly what you do to them. They're recruiting Pakistanis. They're turning officials. Somewhere in the system, there might be a traitor feeding secrets across the border. Your job is to find the mole, and it is the loneliest work in the building. Because to find a traitor, you have to suspect everyone, your colleagues, your mentors, the man who trained you, the friend who vouched for you when you joined. You study patterns, a bank account that's too full, a trip that doesn't add up, a man who suddenly knows things he shouldn't. You build a case quietly, over months, never letting the target feel your eyes on him. When you finally close in, there's no drama, no shouting, just a quiet car ride and a quiet room. The traitor confesses, or he doesn't. Either way, he disappears from the records as if he was never there. You go home that night and you can't sleep, because you've learned the worst lesson of this job. Anyone can be turned. Anyone, including, on a bad enough day, you. They send you to the edge, the mountains, the tribal belt, the line where the map stops meaning anything. Here, intelligence isn't gathered in offices. It's bought with tea, trust, and money in villages where loyalty shifts with the wind. You grow a beard, you wear local clothes. You learn the dialect of the valley you're sitting in, because the wrong accent marks you as an outsider, and outsiders don't always leave. You run a network of informants who may be lying to you. Some fought for one side, then the other. Some sell the same secret to 3 different buyers. You never know who's loyal and who's setting you up for a payment from across the border. You spend weeks living in a compound, sleeping 2 hours at a time, a different house every few nights. You map who's moving weapons, who's hiding fighters, who's building something in a place where nothing should be built. One night, your information stops an attack before it happens. A market full of people goes home alive, never knowing how close they came. They'll never know your name. That's the trade. That's always the trade. You've earned a foreign posting. Officially, you're a diplomat, a name on a list, a desk in an embassy, boring functions in uncomfortable suits. Unofficially, you run the country's secret eyes in a foreign capital. You attend receptions and remember every word. You shake hands with men you're quietly evaluating as targets. You identify the officials, the officers, the businessmen who have access. And you go to work slowly, patiently, over years. You operate far from home, far from backup. If you're caught doing what you really do, you have a thin shield of diplomatic protection. They'll expel you, embarrass you, send you home. But the agents you've recruited have no such protection. If they're caught, they vanish. You carry that weight. Every source you run is a life you're gambling with. You miss your daughter's first steps. You miss funerals. Your family thinks you have a quiet posting abroad. You call when you can, which isn't often. The distance between you and the people you love grows wider with every operation. But the intelligence you send home shapes decisions at the very top. You are, quietly, one of the most important people your country has in this part of the world, and no one will ever be allowed to know it. 15 years in. Your body remembers every cold night and every close call. They pull you off the street and put you behind a desk that controls the streets. Now you run operations instead of running through them. Dozens of officers report to you. Hundreds of sources, across multiple countries, feed their secrets into reports that land on your table. Every operation in your region needs your signature. You make decisions that gamble with lives. Approve this operation, and you might stop an attack, or you might burn a source who has children. Cancel that one, and you might miss the warning that could have saved a city. There's no clean choice. There's only the least terrible one, made at 3 a.m. on no sleep. You answer to the people above you, who want results. You answer to the diplomats who want no incidents. You balance all of it on the edge of a knife. Your marriage ended somewhere around year 10. Your children are grown. They know a version of you. The cover story, the man you pretended to be at dinner. They don't know the one who decides, in the dark, who lives and who disappears. You now command an entire wing of the agency, an entire domain of the secret war. Maybe it's the wing that watches the eastern border and the rival service across it. Maybe it's the one that hunts terrorists who want to tear your country apart from the inside. Maybe it's the one that runs the deepest operations, the ones that don't appear in any budget anyone can read. Thousands of people, in a sense, work for you. Billions in funding that officially doesn't exist flows through your decisions. You brief the most powerful men in the country. You sit in rooms where the future of the nation is decided, and your voice, the voice of someone the public will never see, carries weight. You authorize things that would shock ordinary citizens. You also prevent things that would horrify them more. You've stopped becoming a man who acts and become a man who decides. And the decisions are heavier than any rucksack you ever carried. You sleep 4 hours a night. You haven't taken a real vacation in years. The weight never lifts because there's always another threat, another night, another impossible choice. You're near the very top of the building now. One of a handful of people who see the whole board at once. You don't run a single wing anymore. You oversee the secret machinery of the entire nation's intelligence, the networks abroad, the counterintelligence at home, the operations no one can ever admit to, It all flows up to you and the few who sit beside you. You shape national strategy. You sit across the table from the country's top political and military leadership. When they ask what's really happening, beyond the headlines, beyond the official statements, you're the one who knows. You give them the truth, or the carefully shaped version of it that serves the mission. You've spent 30 years in the shadows, and now the shadows answer to you. But you've paid for every step. The friends who became stars on a memorial wall, the sources you sent to their deaths, the family that became strangers. You carry it all, and you carry it alone, because there's no one left who could possibly understand. The machine runs on secrets and sacrifice, and you're one of the few hands that keep it running. One day, the secrets stop coming to you. You retire. There's no public farewell. No interview, no memoir. You sign papers promising you'll take everything to your grave. You move to a quiet house. You plant a garden. You get a dog. Normal things, for a man who was never allowed a normal life. But part of you never leaves the shadows. You still notice the car that passes twice. The man who lingers too long. The pattern that doesn't fit. Old habits don't die. They just go quiet waiting. Your family will never fully know who you were. When you're gone, the records of your life will stay sealed for decades. By the time anyone is allowed to read them, everyone who knew your name will be gone too. That's the trade. That's always been the trade. Somewhere tonight, in a university hostel or an army barracks or a quiet village, a young person is being watched. Someone scored too high on the wrong test. Someone said the right thing to the wrong stranger. They're dreaming of serving their country. They're imagining something glamorous, something out of a film. They have no idea what they're really signing up for. The loneliness, the impossible choices, the weight of secrets that will hollow them out and fill them back up with shadows. But they'll learn. They always do. A plain envelope. A tap on the shoulder. A question they don't understand. And the cycle begins again.